Welcome to the London School of English Live. Today you will learn what you can gain by taking a general English course at the London School of English. Here with us today we have our expert English language trainer, Jon Dyson, who will share with you what general English classes are like and what happens in the classroom and outside of the classroom in our school. And we also have Parin Chor from our sales team who will help to answer some of the frequently asked questions we get about general English courses from people who are interested in taking a course. If you have any questions at any point during this video, don't hesitate to write them in the live chat in the video, and we will try to answer as many of them as possible in our at the Q&A session at the end. Now, without further ado, over to Parin for a few words about the general English course, and then to Jon for the main content.
Thank you very much, Olga. Welcome to everyone. Whether you are able to travel to London or not, just be assured we have a wide range of course options for you to choose from to improve your general communication skills. If you prefer to take your course online, you may be interested in our general English virtual group course to join us remotely. Our school in London is currently open for face-to-face training, and we welcome new participants to our classes in our beautiful Holland Park Garden Centre every week. We offer general English 20 plus for adults aged 20 and over in small groups of international participants. We have also launched a new program for adults who have just started learning English or have a low level. The General English 20 Plus for Beginners is a part-time course with classes in the mornings. So if you have any questions, please check our website. The link is down below. You will have more information about our training options, or feel free to contact us directly at clients@londonschool.com. Jon, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Parin, and welcome everybody to the live stream. Hello, Frank. Nice to see you with us again. And thanks, Olga. So welcome to another live stream. My name's Jon Dyson. I'm one of the trainers here at the London School of English, and we're going to talk about general English courses today. I've worked on a number of these courses over the last few years, and I'm very enthusiastic to convey to you just why there are so many gains from doing these courses. But to begin with, let's have a look at the word investment. So we have the word investment, and from that, the verb to invest. And when we talk about investing, what exactly are we investing if we decide to do an English language course? Well, there are principally four things that we're investing, and those are time, top left, money, in the bottom left picture, expectations, so there's a nice picture of London there for you, and hopes, and you can see somebody there hoping. Time, money, expectation, and hopes. Now, time and money are very measurable. It's time away from home, however long it may be, the money you need to get here, to stay here, to do the course. Expectations and hopes are rather less tangible. So let's take a look at how we can perhaps make those expectations and hopes gains, more concrete gains. So we're going to begin by making an analogy, a little bit like we did last week when we were talking about metaphors in English. Let's think of a language course as being something like a dish on a menu. So what is the recipe for this kind of thing, for a general English course? Okay, well, let's take a real menu. In a restaurant, for example, you might see on a menu, it says, as a kind of dish, boneless chicken with a sauce and seasoning. Now, that's okay, it's pretty descriptive, but it's not giving you the whole message. If you see something else, if you see a description like this for the dish, succulent pieces of boneless chicken, marinated in ginger and garlic, and spiced with freshly pounded black peppercorns, gram flour, and char grilled with beaten egg yolk. Now that gives you a much richer and better and more detailed idea of what the dish is and how attractive it sounds. Now those two quotes show the difference between the kind of English you might use at a fairly low level and the kind of English that you might use at a much higher level. So obviously your English becomes much more sophisticated. But also If you look at a description of an English language course for most schools, then it might say, well, our courses are for people to improve their fluency and accuracy. People do these courses for work or study or personal interest. And that's perfectly okay. It's a description of the course. As a trainer who's delivered many of these courses, my experience, and it is an experience, is more like the following. My personal menu for a course, a general English course, would be, this course involves a series of dynamic and engaging communication sessions, as you can see in the pictures, where you laugh, talk, listen, exchange advice, exchange opinions, exchange informations, discuss and solve problems, and experience the warm, welcoming, and friendly atmosphere. And by the time the end of the course comes around, you're wishing you could stay on for a while longer. So that would be my menu explanation or description of the kinds of things that you gain from doing a general English course at the London School of English. So going back to the title of this live stream, what are the gains? I've divided the next few minutes into various kinds of gains, and we will see some examples of real life testimonials from course participants who've actually gone through this. First of all, I would say that learning English on a general English course is very much an immersive experience. And just to give you a rather another analogy, for example, if you want to learn how to swim better, then you don't read a book about swimming, you dive into the pool. Yeah, so that is a way of gaining. So that's one of the principal gains, is that you gain experience in using the language. So there is highly intensive use of the language. There's multiple types of interaction. So it could be the whole group. It could be a smaller group. It could be in pairs. It could be in different contexts. As you can see here, we've got a group of people working together. And it could involve discussions, exchanges of opinions, simulations, exchanging information, collaborating on creating, for example, a presentation. So a number of different kinds of options and opportunities for communicating in many different ways. And I think we can see a quote from one of our course participants, which is, this is Andreas from Switzerland, who talked about a very good experience, excellent teacher, good mix of grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary. And very glad to meet, for the chance to meet with 8 people of 8 different nationalities. Really good team. Interesting, not just a group, a team. Although I could only stay for 1 week, I think I could learn a lot and improve my English. So that's a quote straight from the horse's mouth about the benefits and the way you can gain experience and have a great experience at the same time. Okay, moving on. The next gain, I would say, is gaining friends. You gain friends from across cultures and countries, across ages and personalities, and you share a lot of good times together, and you share certain experiences together and certain types of learnings together. So as you can see, one of our events at the school, you can see a wide variety of people there and some very tasty looking little cakes on the table. And of course, you can, participants often take the opportunity to socialize informally during the coffee breaks and after the class has finished in the evening. And of course, we organize, we have a social program, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Okay, moving on to the next gain. This is gain number 3. This is gaining knowledge. Now, this is gaining knowledge could be something that you didn't realize you didn't know. So, I mean, I didn't know that, really. We've been doing this at the London School of English since 1912. So you can imagine how well we can personalize our classes to satisfy everyone, every individual, but also pass on a great deal of knowledge and insight about Britain, British culture, American culture, etc. And also you're gaining knowledge from the other course participants, because you're communicating with them, you're finding out different ways of doing things, different ways of thinking about things. And that's really good, because it's not just a course, in that case, for learning English, it's a course for learning about yourself and learning about other cultures, which is a very, very important feature nowadays in international communication. Okay, moving on to the next gain number 4. This is gaining practice. Gaining practice is obviously one of the things which is most important to people. And I will list some of the, let's call them, ingredients of a good recipe for gaining practice in using English and understanding English. So we have very attentive and very experienced teachers, very sensitive to the needs of the people they are teaching. We have small groups. Our teachers are constantly monitoring the situation, monitoring tasks which are being completed by participants, listening for examples of how they can help the participants by correcting the way they use their language, or perhaps making a little suggestion about how they could use something else as well. You're learning new words and expressions all the time. You're improving your pronunciation. And you're using what we could call situational language to reflect what happens in the outside world. So we're equipping you with the tools that you need to be able to function, whether it's as a tourist, for example, or as an employee at work in various communication situations. So that the idea is to equip you with the tools to feel more confident about the way that you speak English and understand English, because at the end of the day, our approach is highly communicative. And what we know that people need is to understand others and to be understood by others. Now, in these courses, we could cover a lot of different topics. We could talk about travel, or news and views, or leisure, the world of work. We could talk about cross-cultural communication. We could talk about socializing in another language, in English. And we could talk about different ways of communicating. We simulate many activities. So we often ask you in the class to say, okay, imagine you're in a meeting, or imagine you're planning an event. And we ask you to do that in small groups. So these are very much real life kinds of tasks, which have a strong connection with what you might need to do outside. So it could be meeting, planning, deciding something, problem solving, persuading people to do something, sharing information with each other, or even presenting. So the trainer, me and my colleagues, what we do is we assess the makeup of every single group, every individual group. We look at the members of that group, and we adjust our approach and the material we use to best fit with the needs and interests of that group. So we're all highly experienced in delivering courses to small groups of this type. And even though it's not a long course, it is easy for us to be adaptable and flexible to the needs of the group. And there's a quote, I believe, from one of our course participants who experienced one of our general English courses. And she commented, this is Anna from Russia, who reviewed us on Trustpilot. And she says she had a fantastic week. The general English course lessons were full of energy and new expressions. And the teacher listens to you carefully and doesn't interrupt you if you make mistakes. So for this way, he has a very different way of very loyal correction. The staff is very friendly and attentive to everyone and everything that is going around. And lunch deserves separate applause. Well, there we go. So you can see, it really is for us a wrap around experience. It's not just the trainers, it's everybody in the school is committed to providing as useful, professional and friendly and enjoyable experience as possible in an immersive English environment. Okay, moving on to the fifth gain. The fifth gain is to gain insight. Now, the word insight means to learn something rather deeper about a subject or situation. While you're here, you are immersed in Britain, English, and the English, meaning the people. And the way that we try and do this is that we encourage people to take part in our social events. So every week we have a social program, an events calendar, and I think we have a sample of the kinds of activities that we offer. So on any given week, you could be doing a number of different things, a number of different excursions, for example. So as you can see here, you can see we've got various kinds of visits. A visit to the Japanese garden. We've got a visit, the second one down, to the Shakespeare Theatre. A walk around a very, very well-known area, Notting Hill Gate, and one of our famous themed walks. There you can see Sherlock Holmes. I don't think it is actually Benedict Cumberbatch who is leading this excursion, but it's a very enjoyable excursion. So we try and organize a range of different kinds of excursions and social events, like going for a typical fish and chip dinner, where you are immersed in, you're very much part of the English cultural experience. So yeah, and I mean, for us, the main thing is that you apart from being a professional organization who provide very good quality English language training, we want you to have fun inside and outside the class. So during the coffee breaks, you're chatting, you're socializing naturally, maybe networking with new colleagues, new classmates, perhaps people from other classes as well. And the opportunity exists at lunch times as well in our dining room. So you can organize your own impromptu visits to cafes, pubs, sharing a meal out, a social program, as I mentioned, and, you know, reinvent yourself. The good thing about coming to London is in very many cases, you're away from your normal environment and actually more relaxed. You have less to distract you and you can focus more. By the way, we're also, of course, doing classes online, and many people prefer the flexibility of online group classes. So I'm starting one next Monday. And these are often for people who are based in London, but who, for reasons of, you know, their life circumstances or work or whatever, that they're not able to attend classes. So these online classes are equally as engaging. And I believe we have a testimonial from one of our Chinese course participants who obviously hasn't been able to travel over to the UK in recent months. So she did a course online. And this is her comments.
It's a wonderful experience to study in the London School of English, both online and offline. The teachers are professional. The classes are interesting. Most importantly, I always feel being taken care of by the teachers and the staff. Definitely, I will recommend it to anyone who wants to improve their English and who want to communicate with the people from different parts of the world.
So there you are. A compliment from halfway around the world. Okay, our last gain, or the last gain I'm going to mention, is gain number 6. And this is one of the most important ones because it's something that many course participants talk about the value of, and that is gaining confidence. Gaining confidence in understanding English and speaking English and using English to communicate in a number of different contexts. I think the most important thing, having been a language learner myself, I learned Spanish, that it's important to have a very supportive, safe, and encouraging learning environment around you. So, as I mentioned before, we're doing things like discussing things, exchanging information, working on mini projects, telling your group about your favorite things, for example, your favorite places, your favorite experiences, hobbies you might have. So, presenting information to them. And I think the most important thing is this variety may sound a little bit intimidating at the beginning, but I think for two things, it's a very supportive environment, and you are relaxed and receptive. Generally speaking, you are away from your normal environment. You're not stressed by time limits, and you don't have half your mind on something else like work issues or family issues. Secondly, you are able to do things, believe me, you are able to do things with the language which you didn't think that you could do because you've never tried it. So when you get the opportunity to try it, well, it's a little bit of a risk. You may be outside your comfort zone, but I find that people normally say, "Oh, I've never done that before, and I didn't know I could do it." I'll say, "Well, you know, you can do it. Not perfectly, of course, but you've got a basis upon which to improve the next time you do it." And I believe very strongly, and this you cannot quantify, this is not measurable, but it is a benefit of doing courses like this, that you go away from a general English course at the London School of English with a lot of happy memories, but also with a much greater sense of self-belief when it comes to communicating in English. To return to my food theme, if you remember, we started with a restaurant menu. There is a good metaphor, an idiomatic expression in English, which is the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that you only get proof or evidence of how good the pudding or course is by eating it, by enrolling on a course and experiencing it. And it's what we would call, as I mentioned before, I used this expression before, a wraparound experience. So if you come to do a general English course at the London School of English, I believe that you will return home with the feeling that you've taken away with you much more than just more English vocabulary or better English grammar or a greater capacity to communicate. Much, much more than that. Okay, thank you very much. I'll hand you back to Olga.
Thank you very much, Jon, for yet another great live stream and for sharing your experience as a trainer. It's great to know that we can help our clients to feel more confident and bring all this experience back with them. So I just would like to encourage our viewers, if you've got any questions to Jon or to Perrine, please don't hesitate and share them in the live chat next to the video, and we'll answer as many of them as we can. We also know that there are some questions that get asked a lot when it comes to our general English courses. And Perrine, I know that you had a look at a few of them and kindly shared some of the most popular ones here with us. So one of them is, how many people are in my class? Could you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure, Olga. So as Jon has mentioned, we have very small groups of participants. And on average, we have 5 to 6 participants per class with a maximum of 8. So you will see the group is small and you will get to have the opportunity to interact a lot with the other international participants and with your trainer as well.
That's great. Thanks, Perrine. And another question that we frequently get asked a lot is, is will I do some speaking? I know that Jon has already covered it earlier, but Perrine, Jon, is there anything else you would like to add?
As Jon mentioned, the course is really about communication and developing your confidence in using English. So you will, of course, do a lot of speaking, more than just some. And we cover a wide range of topics. So Jon mentioned food, which is something that I believe most of us like doing, especially when visiting a foreign country. And we cover topics from everyday life, from booking a hotel, booking a table at a restaurant, talking about your holidays, talking about your job, talking about your family. So you will have the opportunity to practice your speaking skills with, again, a wide range of topics during your course.
Okay, and I would just add to what Perrine said by saying, for as far as the trainers are concerned, it's very much the language is to communicate, and as I mentioned earlier on, it's about understanding other people and it's about being understood. So we very much put a premium on listening skills and on your capacity to speak in a coherent, correct, and organized fashion. So that's very much the focus of the course.
Great. Thank you, Jon. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you encourage people who, for example, feel really shy to still speak during the course?
Yeah, from as a trainer with a lot of experience in this, of course, there are various kinds of personalities in a group of, let's say, 8 people, which it can be personalities, it can be cultural background, which means that they won't necessarily speak spontaneously at the beginning. I think the important thing is if I see that somebody's shy, that I try to be sensitive about it and show that there is no pressure to communicate from the very beginning. I'm not going to force them to participate if they don't want to. So if they want to listen for a little while, that's fine. And I generally find that once they see that it is a safe environment and everybody's helping each other, that they naturally start communicating. And the other thing is, I won't always work in a whole group. So with a group of 8 people, maybe it'll be working in pairs, which is far less exposing for a shy person than having to speak in front of a group of 8 people. So there are ways that a trainer can use their experience to work around that. The main thing is that the person doesn't start feeling stressed about it, because that affects their learning.
Great, thank you. As always, kind of the experience, the atmosphere that creates a sense of trust and comfort. I guess it might be very important for a lot of people. And I guess another thing that we mentioned is gaining friends and also participating in discussions and speaking with people from different countries and nationalities. And I know that that's one of the questions that gets asked a lot as well, Perrine. Can you tell us a little bit more about the nationality, different nationality mix that people can expect?
So I think we had some different nationalities that Jon mentioned, with people from China, people from France, Switzerland, and we're very blessed with a very diverse range of nationalities of people visiting us from all over the world. And we have people, obviously we're based in London, so we have international participants who live in London, but come from all over the world. And obviously you have people traveling from Europe and as far as Latin America and from Asia as well. So when you visit our school, and I think you saw it from the pictures, we have people from very diverse backgrounds and many different cultures as well.
Great, that's very good to know. And Perrine, Jon also mentioned different formats, and you mentioned as well at the beginning our face-to-face and online training. So, of course, it depends. It depends on the needs of those people. But can you tell us a little bit more about when you would advise people to take face-to-face, online, or maybe a combination of both?
I believe what we're always interested in is, are you able to travel? How much time do you have for your course? And what is the most convenient in general? So we've had people who join our courses who were based in London, and they joined their courses remotely because it was just more convenient for them to be working during the day, logging to join their training, and then finish up by picking up their children at school. There's no best way. John, who has been a trainer of ours for many years, has been teaching face-to-face courses and virtual courses. The only difference I would say is that, of course, there's the course, but there's more than just the course that you have. And the difference is the immersion experience, where you get to have a cup of coffee with your classmates, where you get to visit London. So if you can join our courses online, that's brilliant. And then if you ever have a chance to visit us in London, even better. We will welcome you with open arms to to just have a cup of coffee, and then we have lunches as well. So obviously, the more time you spend exposed to English is always the better.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely, I can only agree wholeheartedly with what Porine has said. Obviously in these circumstances, then over the last year and a half, I've done a number of different online general English courses in groups, but they're small groups, and the conferencing software platforms have all the features you need to be able to do the same things as you would do in a classroom. You have a whiteboard. You have breakout rooms to make smaller groups to do task preparation and planning and things like that. At the end of the day, it's about the human connection, and it's about the human communication. And it's always fascinating to have, for example, a woman in Argentina communicating with a man who's in Japan and talking to me who's sitting here in Oxford. So, I mean, it is possible, as Corinne said. Ideally, you want to have the immersive experience, and hopefully that will all be back to normal, and people will be coming to London from all over the world, which is my experience of course participants is people from all over the world, from Brazil to Japan to Switzerland, wherever. Okay.
Great, thank you so much, Jon, for sharing the experience, and Porine for sharing your tips and advice on this. And I know that there are more and more countries now who can actually travel to London. So, of course, for this, it's best to follow the government advice. But it's great to hear that this is happening now. So, my last question is basically about any other questions that people might have. Porine, what's the best way to get in touch with our team and find out anything specific that someone who is interested in a general English course might want to know?
If you're interested in general English courses or any other, and you have many different questions and you don't know where to start, so you can have more information on our website, the www.londonschool.com, and I highly recommend you email us directly on clients@londonschool.com, which is the email address you have here. So feel free to ask any questions. If you don't know where to start by emailing us, and we'll arrange a phone call with you if you're happy to chat with us.
That's great. Thank you, Porine. So on this note, we would like to say thank you to everyone who joined us. Also would like to mention Frank, who joined us, who's one of our alumni, Shankar. So it was really, really good to have you here with us, and we hope to see you either online or face-to-face sometime soon, maybe in London. On this note, we wish you a wonderful rest of the day, wherever you are, and we see you soon. And thank you, Jon and Farine, for this live stream.
Thank you very much, Olga.
Thank you.
Jon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Talk to you very soon, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.